Today the boys are working on the El Camaro. Looks like they found a few issues with the drivetrain. Need to make some repairs to the clutch. It's time to upgrade. Now, here's Andrew to tell us about today's teardown.
We're fixing up the clutch on the 1989 Camaro today. It's squealing like crazy. Reverse, not doing so well. Alright, so now I got the car all jacked up, put on roadblocks. Get underneath. Alright, so the first step we're going to do is we're going to take out the starter right here from the bell housing. We're going to take this wire off here. Taking all the wires off here. Take the purple one off too. Okay, so we're taking the bolts out of the starter here. So now that we got the bolts out, we can take the starter out. Just kind of angle it up here. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now we're at the rear end of the car here. I'm going to be taking off the drive line. We need to mark the U-joint here so we know which side it goes on. So we'll make some marks here. So now we're going to take out the torque arm here. It's got these two bolts. Long bolts here. All the way out. I'll take the other one. There we go. So now we're going to take the torque arm off the rear axle here. Just use a rubber mallet. So to get this torque arm out here, there's a bolt just on the top side right here. I'll pull that out and we'll get this whole thing pushed to the back and I'll pull it right out.
Hot.
So now we're going to take the universal joint off the rear end here. And we'll rotate to the other side. We'll take this side off. And then you should be able to just push it forward a little bit. It pops out. And take it down. Now we're up in the top part of the car. We're going to take out the cover for the shifter here. cover just comes up and out, like so. We're going to take the knob off. There we go. Pull this up. So once we get the cover off and the shifter knob off, we're going to take the boot down here off. Okay, so then we're going to pull this boot out off there. So next we're going to take out the 4 bolts that hold the shifter shaft in here. So we're going to have to pull this out, but it's kind of wedged in here. So I'll get a pry bar and get underneath one of these edges underneath this thing. Start it out there so it starts to loosen up. Okay. So it'll pull it right up and out. There we go. We're underneath the car here again, and we need to get some of these cables off the transmission. So the first one here is the speedometer cable. We'll go ahead and loosen it up, take it off. So let's get some. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and remove the reverse tail light plug here on the side of the transmission. And remove the slave cylinder for the hydraulic clutch. This out, pull this out, pull it down, all the way. That's it. Next, we're going to disconnect the bell housing from the transmission here. As you can see, there's these 2 bolts on this right here. There's 2 on the other side, so we'll go ahead and loosen those up. Most of the bolts removed from the transmission. We're going to roll the transmission jack underneath it, and we're going to support it. Alright, so now I took all the bolts out of the transmission to the bell housing, and then now we're going to take off the cross member here. So let's take these 4 bolts out. So then we're going to pull the transmission back and pull the spline right out of the motor here. So
If you want to stay up to date with the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Links are in the description.
Okay, so next we're going to be removing the bell housing from the motor, and we're going to probably need a breaker bar for this because they're on there pretty tight. So let's start over here. I'll start on this one over here.
Hot. Hot.
Once you get all the bolts loose, I left the one at the top to hold it up there. And we're going to take this last bolt out here, and then we'll drop the bell housing down. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it doesn't just suddenly go. Holds it in there. Alright, here we go. Bell housing coming down. Our lovely clutch fork here and throw-up bearing. It's looking pretty trashed. Alright, so now we're going to take off the pressure plate and clutch. First we're going to wet it down a little bit just to make sure that the asbestos dust doesn't go all over the place. Then we're gonna wedge a piece of wood up in this square up here so it won't turn on us when we try to. Yeah. So see if we can get these broken loose because they're pretty tight. Okay. So now we're going to remove the final bolt here. Just going to hang this off like a picture frame. Just do it this way to hold the clutch in there. Alright, so now we're going to remove the flywheel and we're going to shove a piece of wood up here to stop from rotating. And then we'll get our breaker bar on here. These are very tight.
Hot. Hot.
Alright, we'll just push the cord off. Okay, there we go. Now that we got all those parts off the clutch there, let's go up to the bench and see what's going on with all of them. Alright, so we got the pressure plate out of the car here. This is the old one. You can see that the teeth right here are pretty much all worn way down, and some are even like pretty much gone. So as you can see, here's the back of the pressure plate, and you can see some of the markings and some of the stains from overheating the clutch. Over here we have the old clutch. It's actually not too bad. You can still see the rivets pretty good here if they're not flush with it. But we're going to end up replacing this anyway. So we decided to drain the oil out of the transmission just because it's recommended you do when you do all this. We took the drive line off the end here and just drained it out the end. And you can see down the transmission in here where the shifter goes. So we're going to send off this flywheel to a machine shop to get resurfaced. So when we get the new one installed, it'll have a flat, clean surface to mate to. Alright, well that concludes the tear down of the clutch. Well, we found a few issues with the oil pan. So it looks like we got a few more repairs to make, and we'll see y'all next time on It's Time to Upgrade!
Thanks for checking out the channel. If you like what you saw, make sure you give us a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe as well.